Tonight on News 5 Live, Joseph Acario is arraigned for the murder of businessman Zhang Liu. The search for 3 missing fishermen continues near Map Key. The Coast Guard believes that their disappearance has to do with an ongoing fishing war. A second girl is shot while sleeping. BDF Commander Stephen Ortega says that daily patrols are carried out in the Barrio El Juda area along the western border. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Smart customers, this is your chance to win big with Smart and Quartz Mega Raffle 2019. Starting November 6th through December 23rd, for every $5 you use on calls, texts, data, and roaming bundles for the week, you'll get 1 raffle entry to win weekly amazing prizes.
Or you can purchase a chance for just $1 by sending an SMS to You Win 8946.
On November 11th, you can win a 1-night stay for 2 at San Ignacio Hotel, $100 certificate from Pink's Boutique, $500 cash from Innovative Signs, and a power washer from Brothers Habet.
Then on November 18th, win a 1-night stay for 2 at Hopkins Bay Resort, round-trip tickets for 2 from My Island Air, plus $200 cash from Smart.
On November 25th, win a 1-night stay for 2 at Sunbreeze Hotel, round-trip tickets for 2 from Tropicare, plus a mega basket from Grace Kennedy.
On December 2nd, win a 1-night stay for 2 at Shaw Creek, a family photo shoot with night and day, plus dinner for 2 at Bird's Eye.
Then, on December 9th, win a round-trip ticket from United Airlines, plus a $1,000 savings account from Belize Bank.
And on December 16th, you can win an iPhone 11 Plus, round-trip tickets for 4 courtesy San Pedro Belize Express.
This mega raffle giveaway doesn't end there. On December 23rd, 1 lucky winner gets to walk away with a mega gift. $10,000 in furniture and appliances, courtesy of Quartz and Smart, just in time for the Christmas. So every Monday, you could be a lucky winner with Smart.
Belize Bank's Christmas Flexi Loans are here. Let us help you to cover all your Christmas expenses this Christmas season. Visit us today to borrow up to $15,000 with no collateral and no payment until next year. Also, make your Christmas shopping more convenient with a pre-approved MasterCard credit card and get your first year's membership free. Have a jolly Christmas with Belize Bank.
Welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, November 26th. I am Marlene Cuellar. The execution-style murder of prominent businessman Zhang Liu continues to rock the Chinese community and the thousands who knew and liked one of the owners of the 88 group of companies on Central American Boulevard. Liu was called by cell phone on Friday night by an associate. He left the store and headed to the George Price Highway, where he was shot at close range. Police would find his body on the highway and his vehicle in the Gungulung area. It is known that 4 men were detained. One of them was escorted to court this morning and charged for Liu's murder. But there were protestations from the mother of Joseph Vicario, who says that the police have the wrong man. Here's News 5's Dwayne Moody.
Today, before Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser, Joseph Vicario was arraigned for the murder of Zhang Liu. The 24-year-old construction worker of a Neil Penn Road address was remanded to the Central Prison in Hattieville until January 24, 2020. His mother protested the charge against her son.
So he is scared. And I want to put on the record that my son not kill no Chinese man because they take 2 fingers to kill a louse. And the one we call him out, that the one supposed to be in here. He call him out to go help tour a vehicle. Then a cousin, he mean a bed. He call him, they live nearby. So why the police officer and the CIB there, they don't pick up the next person and do the right job what they're supposed to do? 2 finger kill a louse, not 1. So how my son alone will be facing a murder when he never even know the Chinese man? So how he get out there? You know, do the job the right way. Do the job the right way. You know, please, please, not make it go like that because I'm a black man against one Chinese man.
Liu was shot at close range over the weekend near mile 4 on the George Price Highway. The details disclosed by police are that the 28-year-old Chinese businessman received a call that a vehicle he had imported had broken down on the highway. Liu picked up an associate and traveled to the area to assist, but he was executed and his body dumped on the side of the road. The killer and his accomplices, including Liu's associate, escaped in Liu's vehicle.
And in the process, he then picked up another male person who took him or who rode along with him to the area where they were met by 2 other persons. And during that process, Mr. Liu was apparently shot. Police did locate that in Belize City, the vehicle which he used to go to that area.
Was that in someone's possession? Who had that vehicle?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I am not going to reveal that, but yes, it was in someone's possession.
Are you able to say if that's one of the persons detained?
Yes, yes, it is.
Vicario is one of 4 men that were detained in connection with the murder, but during arraignment today, the accused told the court that he did not commit the crime. Vicario says he did not receive a copy of the facts on the case, even though he had given a statement to police saying that another person pulled the trigger on the night of November 23rd. He claimed that he was in the back seat of Liu's vehicle when it was intercepted by police in the Gungulung area of the city, and he was caught at the scene.
3 men then tell me the more they detain. So why they talking to your son? So that's how the system go. They talking to your son, and because they talking to your son get charged for that. That's how they do. You're supposed to put 2 things together for make 1. So I want to ask Miss DPP for please look into my son file because he ready me for go do correction statement. This man he tell me, said, "Mommy, I was in the driver's seat. When all of this got done, I ready for talk. I was scared, afraid for them kill you. So I ready for talk, and I said, well, we'll get the attorney, and you're going to talk the shoot. But then they push wrong, and they don't want the shoot."
Vicario was imprisoned for 3 years after he was accused of a 2014 murder in the West. It was found that he was wrongfully charged, and another person was found guilty of the crime and sentenced. The family is suing for damages. His mother, Brenda Lee, believes that her son is being targeted and claims that his life has been threatened.
They beat her, they pepper spray her, they slap her up, they all kind of thing. So what happened? When the incident happened, first thing you see on the Facebook, my son put a face up against the Chinaman one. They condemn my son right there. Rumor they go around that Chinaman they get my son killed back at jail. Well, make I tell them this. This black woman no stand for 10.5 for no reason. I stand strong. and I want to get to the bottom of anything.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
3 fishermen have not been located, and their families are coming to terms with the notion that they may not be alive. The trio embarked on a fishing trip last Friday to the area of Map Key, well known for an ongoing fishing turf war. The Coast Guard and the police have been conducting search operations, but so far they have been unable to locate the fishermen who set out on the Lorraine, a boat owned by Sheldon Gibson, one of the missing men. News 5's Isani Caetano reports.
The disappearance of 3 Belize City youths at sea over the weekend reeks of foul play, despite the absence of concrete evidence to support the family's theory of their demise. Sheldon Gibson, Elijah Usher Jr. and Kevin Roches are unaccounted for after 3 days of an intense search and rescue operation led by the Belize Coast Guard. It is strongly believed that they were gravely injured while out on a fishing trip near Map Key last Friday.
We commenced a research on Saturday morning along with members of the Crimes Investigative Branch of the Police Department. We concentrated in the Map Key area because that was the last known position. That was the area that we had that we received that they were going to go and fish. So that was the area that we concentrated on Saturday. We came back empty-handed on Sunday. We received the assistance of the BDF Air Wing to do some aerial search. That search area expanded. We weren't able to locate the target vessel.
What the Coast Guard team is looking for is Loriani, an 18-foot fiberglass launch carrying a 40-horsepower outboard engine. The vessel is the property of the 22-year-old Gibson, a resident of Raleigh Street in Belize City. What has been the effort from the family to go out there on their own to try to locate either Sheldon or the other 2 persons who are missing along with him?
We had contacted the Coast Guard, we had contacted the police, we have made report, we had asked them to, go out there and make search, and so far we are not aware if they had went. We don't know because, like I said, the police haven't come back and give us any information. From Saturday we made the report and the police haven't come back to visit us as yet.
For all intents and purposes, the Belize Police Department is woefully behind on investigating criminal activities taking place off the coast of the city. The maritime domain may not be its jurisdiction. However, the proximity of Map Key, as well as the fact that the disappearances are believed to be the result of piracy, should prompt officers to investigate these incidents carefully.
Are you guys able to say if there is indeed some kind of war going on between the fishing camps?
Not that we know about. What we do know, though, is that the Coast Guard had effected regular patrols in that area as a consequence of what had transpired earlier in June.
According to Captain Elton Bennett, all indications are that there is in fact a turf war being waged at sea, more so in that particular location.
So the area of Drone Key and Map Key area, just about 5 miles east of Belize City, is a very lucrative fishing ground. Over the past 3 years, we've seen a shift in the quality of marine life coming out of that area, and we've seen the fisher folks in that area really prosper. It has become a real good business just east of Belize City, and we definitely believe that the fishing turf issue is one of the reasons for increased violence in that area. So it's an area that we are concerned about, and we continue to do patrols in that area.
In describing Gibson, a relative attests that he was not troublesome. Sadly, she seems to have accepted his fate.
He wasn't a troublemaker. Everybody that knows him knows that he was a nice person, he was kind, but when he goes out there to sea, I can't say he was a saint. I don't know when he goes to sea what he does out there. But however, if he's dead, I mean, he didn't have to go that way, but he chose not to listen, so what can we do?
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Caetano.
While Coast Guard personnel were out combing the area of Drowned Key, several miles away from where Gibson and 2 other fishermen went missing, they happened upon a vessel that they have been searching for since mid-January. At first, it was believed that the vessel belonged to Gibson, but the small fiberglass boat is now believed to be the property of missing fisherman Evan Neal. It was salvaged from a mangrove patch on Monday afternoon. It had what appeared to be multiple bullet holes near the bow. Pin, as the vessel is called, is the second of 2 boats believed to be owned by Neil, whose remains are yet to turn up since he was reported missing earlier this year. Anthony Renault, Edinho Humes, and Evan Neal were on Map Key when tragedy struck. Humes' body was later found inside a pit latrine on the island, and the other 2 men were never located. In June, 5 other persons were also killed in the vicinity of Swallow Key. Contrary to what was initially reported by the Belize Police Department, the Coast Guard maintains that the violence at sea has to do with a turf war over fishing locations and camps.
Insofar as your search efforts over the past couple of days, I understand that you were able to unearth or recover a vessel that may have been linked to a previous incident back in January. Can you provide us with any information?
Right, so just to give you an overview of what we unearthed, we were out on a search effort earlier in January of this year and looking for a target vessel that was suspected to be involved in criminal activities. We were unable to find that vessel yesterday, semi-submerged in the mangroves area off Drunk Keys, and not directly linked to this case at all, but in that area, in that lagoon area, in the Drunk Keys area that we refer to as the graveyard, where we've recovered quite a few abandoned vessels.
Now, let's go back a bit. I know that in June, there was the unfortunate case of 5 persons losing their lives in the Swallow Key area as well. I know that there were certain theories put forward that it may have been drug-related, but could there have been any other indication that perhaps this has to do with fisheries or some other form of activity in the area?
So what we've seen is the impact of lucrative fishing grounds. The value of lobster and conchs and fish trap in that area far surpass the traditional fishing fleet. We do believe that this is a turf war amongst fisher folks. And the Swallow Key 5, from our assessment, could very well have been the result of a turf war amongst fisher folks. We weren't able to find any lead of it being drug-related. So from the Coast Guard perspective, that's a fishing issue.
In a developing story, after 35 years of service in the Collet Division of Belize City, the Pine Street Preschool off Vernon Street has closed its doors. Today, police officers were dispatched to the school to keep the peace, while Ministry of Education appointed teachers removed teaching supplies. The closure stems from a dispute between the Ministry of Education and the owner of the property and former principal, Felicia Anthony. Since August, Anthony and 2 other long-standing teachers, including Charlotte Slusher, were told verbally that their valid license were revoked. At the start of the new school year, the ministry put in place a new principal and teachers, allowing classes to be conducted inside the building owned by Anthony and the original teachers. Anthony told News 5 that neither of them have received any formal notification of the reason for their replacement and that they have not been paid since the start of the school year. So reluctantly, she closed down the school.
Teacher Charlotte told them that the 22nd from last month, the 22nd of this month, they will close down the school. She went up there to a meeting and told them. The teacher said, don't follow her, because it's not true. Mr. Kellerman came and told them the same thing. It's not true. So she showed them that we are the boss. So she went and closed it down. So today they came there with police, thinking that we will not give them their stuff. We don't want their stuff. And that's why they came there with police, and people from the ministry came. They took their stuff and they went.
In August of this year, the 26th of August, Mr. Marvin Kellyman from the ministry came to us while we were at the school, and he informed Ms. Anthony that her license was revoked. This is word of mouth, and that my license was denied. Up to now, because we've been asking them to give us in writing, black and white. We need it Because then how can we move or do anything if we don't have a license to say that her license was revoked and my license was denied? That's how we've been asking them for up to now, up to this present moment. We have not received it as yet.
So when did you guys decide, or when was it decided that the school will be closed down?
This was decided from last month, the 22nd of October. How we make it 1 month exactly, because the teachers were being disrespectful. We went in and we told them the place belongs to us. Please don't do A, B, and C. She went, she changed the school name, she changed the logo of the school, and she changed the email.
Who did this?
The principal that they sent there.
The duo says that they were soon to become pensionable and would have retired in 2021. They have met with the Chief Education Officer, Dr. Carol Babb, and an emergency meeting is being called for this Wednesday with the ministry. Anthony and Slusher have since sought the advice of an attorney to determine the way forward.
Up to now, we haven't received any letter stating that this is revoked. So if this isn't revoked, if I haven't got a letter, that means I'm still a teacher. I'm still supposed to get our salary, which we are not getting a salary. We get this from Treasury. This is a paper that they terminate us. See our name right here at the top. So they terminate us, but if we go and sign for our gratuity, we're supposed to sign that we resign. Resign and terminate are two different things, and that they did not realize. But we are not stupid.
You went to your lawyers. What is the lawyer saying? What's the next step?
Need the letter.
She sent them a letter stating let them to give us the letter stating that that they revoke and terminate, and she's still waiting on that from them.
News 5 has been informed that the Ministry of Education will be holding a meeting with parents and guardians of Pine Street Community Preschool at the Gateway Youth Center on Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. to discuss their child's enrollment in preschool. Coming up, a spiritual leader fleeing the long arms of the law in India is believed to have sought refuge in Belize. And the BDF confirms that Guatemalans have settled on this side of the border in Benque. is being linked to Belize. In the center of the storm is Godman Nityananda, a spiritual leader who fled India, even though his passport had expired, by using a fake Venezuelan passport. The accused rapist, torturer, and abductor is said to be hiding in this region, and Indian media houses are reporting that Nityananda traveled to Belize in 2018. Republic TV is reporting that it had learned that an honorary doctorate had allegedly been conferred upon him by Commonwealth University in Belize. Republic TV is also reporting that this may indicate that he had allegedly traveled to Belize to accept the degree last year and that he applied for citizenship and asylum in Belize. According to Republic TV, Belizean authorities reportedly had written to India's Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of External Affairs to seek details of his passport. The Belize authorities are said to have been informed of the criminal charges Nityananda faces in India. He has been under the radar since the first complaint was filed against him in 2010. He faces 376 rape allegations, 377 of unnatural sex, and 114 criminal abetment charges. It is believed that he might be traveling between Belize and Ecuador. Here's a news clip from Republic TV.
Well, Shivani, before I go into that, there is some breaking information that I do have right now with regards to how exactly Nityananda. Well, Shivani, before I go into that, there is some breaking information that I do have right now with regards to how exactly Nityanand actually escaped, and not just that, with regards to his whereabouts in Belize. This is exactly what we broke last evening, and now we've got certain details with regards to an honorary doctorate that Nityananda received by this university in Belize. And this is the document. I just would like my camera person to just show you this particular document. This is the honorary doctorate that was basically given to Nityanand on 31st of May 2018. Once again, this clearly shows you the fact that he had a planned exit, and this document itself is a clear reflection that perhaps it is suspected at this point in time that he was in fact present to receive this honorary doctorate that was conferred upon him by this university in Belize. That's Commonwealth University, and this is the details of the university that has been given here and Nityanand's name. Plus, let me just go to the other pages which clearly talks about, this is the citation that was presented to Nityanand, that was in the year 2018. So it clearly indicates that perhaps he has been shifting between Ecuador and, for that matter, Belize, is what we are being told at this point in time. Multiple sources that we have spoken to, especially close aides, still maintain that there is a high possibility that he could still be in Belize. Apart from the fact that he has been shifting between Ecuador and Belize is something that we have picked up at this point in time. But this citation clearly is a reflection of the fact that perhaps Nityanand was there at that point in time to basically accept this honorary doctorate. We haven't heard from the university as yet. We've written to the university, but there's no official confirmation really coming in from the university whether at all Nityanand was present to basically accept this honorary doctorate that was conferred upon him.
Commander of the Belize Defense Force, Brigadier General Stephen Ortega, confirmed that 2 Guatemalan families have illegally settled on Belize's side of the border in Benque. The Barrio Juda squatting problem continues to be an issue not only for private landowner Jorge Espat, but for the government as well. Ortega says that the OAS has confirmed that 2 permanent structures have been built on this side of the border, and the Guatemalan encroachers have been informed that they need to be relocated back to Guatemala. But it is a sticky situation that requires skillful diplomacy to avoid an international incident, since both countries are heading to the International Court of Justice for settlement of the claim to the Belizean territory. According to Ortega, the Guatemalan squatters have not resisted relocation, but the responsibility falls on the Guatemalan government to speed up the process in accordance with the confidence-building measures.
We discovered the structures in Belize, and we passed it up through our chain of command, meaning the patrol on the ground discovered it, passed it up to force headquarters, we passed it up to our ministry. They forward it to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. From there it goes to the OAS office, and they have a verification team that goes out and sites it. But because this area was so close to the border, their GPS reading, they had to send it farther to a geospatial unit in Mexico City. And when it came back, it verified that, yes, they were in Belize, just about 10 to 15 feet or 5 meters thereabout.
No. So many families?
There are 2 structures, okay, and we believe 2 families.
Okay. Have they shown any sort of resistance in relocating?
No, they haven't. We've done a joint patrol, a combined patrol there with the Guatemalan military, and I'm sure the diplomats from both sides have visited as well, but I can only speak from the military portion. We did a patrol there with the Guatemalan army, and they have explained to them that they are in Belize, and the people understand that, yes, they are in Belize and they will have to relocate back into Guatemala.
The BDF commander says that since the Barrio Juda situation has re-emerged, BDF soldiers are daily patrolling the area with the hopes that other Guatemalans will desist from squatting on this side of the border.
They are the ones who are going through the process of relocating them presently. So it's a diplomatic process that is laid out in the confidence building measures, that because the structures were occupied, these persons will have to go through a process that is laid out in the confidence building measures to have them relocated back into Guatemala.
The situation, as the Prime Minister had mentioned in a previous interview, is always discussed in a meeting of the Security Council. Is a situation that always arises nearly every year, especially when there's a municipal election in that country. What is the BDF doing, or the Ministry of National Security doing, to permanently address these illegal settlers that are inching their way into Belize?
As you know, the entire borderline, because of the proximity of Guatemalans living along the border and Belizeans not living along the border, this entire border is subject to Guatemalans coming over. For situations such as these, we continuously do patrols, and especially in the Barrio Juda now, we do daily patrols in that entire area, which is approximately about 20 to 25 kilometers long.
1-year-old Melanie Martin was shot as she slept with her grandmother on Sunday night. 16-year-old Chantus Martinez was also shot in the same incident and remains in a critical condition. Within 24 hours, another girl was shot on Monday night in Belize City. Police say that just after 10:30, 14-year-old Trishelle Minor was sleeping in her house when she was woken up by gunshots and quickly realized she had been shot. According to the child's relatives, she is in a stable condition. However, her arm was badly damaged by the bullet and she will have to undergo surgery. Police are investigating. A Dangriga resident was shot on Monday morning in that southern municipality, which has been plagued by a rash of violence. Police say that Raymond Bernardez was standing when he was approached by a man he knows. The two men got into an argument, and that's when the man pulled out a gun and fired a single shot which hit Bermudez. He was taken to the Southern Regional Hospital for treatment. Police took a firearm and some ammunition off the streets during searches in the west and south. On Monday morning around 11:30, police conducted a search in an abandoned lot in the Hattieville area in Roaring Creek, where they discovered a .38 Smith & Wesson revolver. No one was in the area at the time of the discovery, and the weapon was deposited as found property. Cops in the south also got some ammunition off the streets when sometime around 3:30 on Monday evening, police searched an abandoned bushy lot on Berber Street in the Indianville area, where they came across 6.9mm live rounds of ammunition. No one was in the area at the time of the search, so the ammunition was labeled and deposited as found property. Today, taxi driver Jorge Sanchez of Ranchita Village was formally arrested and charged for firearm offenses. Sanchez appeared before the Corozal Magistrate Court, where he was arraigned for possession of a firearm and ammunition without a license. The taxi operator pleaded not guilty and was remanded to prison until January 27, 2020. According to police, they were called out to the northern border sometime around 2:30 on Monday, where officials were handed over one 9mm pistol along with a magazine which contained 13 rounds of ammunition. Police say that Sanchez's taxi was searched during a routine vehicle check, and he was crossing the border that day when the firearm and ammunition were found inside his van. After the break, there is a call on men and boys to end violence against women. A forum encouraging men and boys to end violence against women was held today as events take place within the 16 days of activism. Participants were encouraged to be part of the solution to create safer environments for women and girls. News 5's Hippolyta Novello reports.
As part of the 16 days of activism, a men's forum focusing on gender-based violence was held today in Belize City. Organized by the Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Action Network and held under the theme Engaging Men and Boys to Help Combat Gender-Based Violence, the conference brought together men to be part of the discussion.
We have a very interesting and diverse panel speaking to the issues of how can we engage our men and boys in addressing, in eliminating gender-based violence. And I think it's an important subject to discuss. We do have men who are committed to combating gender-based violence. And that is important. It is important because as we move forward in addressing this issue, we need our men to work with us.
UN consultant and facilitator Shane Joseph says that it is important to understand the root cause of violence.
It is rooted in power and control in society, and oftentimes we see the statistics, the empirical data tells us clearly, disproportionately, that men are the perpetrators of violence against female. And I think today's event is about bringing men together with an opportunity to share their views and to give their narrative as it relates to addressing toxic masculinity, as it relates to addressing the role that men play in the equation, as opposed to just looking at victimization and women who disproportionately are victims of violence. What role do men play? How are we able to create accountability and take ownership for our behavior?
And the call has now been made for these men to be agents of change to get the message to the households.
Our next step from here is where we'll be trying to get a group of men who will become advocates, strong advocates. And it's important because in the room we have men from all over Belize. But you're right, we're speaking to the converted. Some of them are converted, not all of them. But the idea is to get men as agents of change and men as advocates, men who will step up and get other men to come on board with us.
Reporting for News 5, Hippolyta Novello.
With the critical assistance from the Organization of American States, Belize is getting closer in finalizing its cybersecurity strategy. A draft strategy was presented to stakeholders today at an event held by the OAS Global Partners Digital, UK Government, and the Ministry of National Security, under the theme Protect to Connect. The National Cybersecurity Strategy is expected to enhance policies, procedures, and enforcement to detect and deter pornography, sexual exploitation, and related activities in cyberspace. Program lead for Global Partners Digital, Daniela Shindrig, says that the draft strategy represents Belize's commitment to battle cybercrime.
The development of the strategy started last year in 2018 with support of the Organization of American States, the cyber program. And so there was a task force that was set up to help with the drafting, and that task force is multi-stakeholder, meaning that it has representatives from all different sectors. And we now are presenting today the first draft of the strategy, which is a really good accomplishment. So the objective of today is to share this draft with the community and to start getting feedback and input from people here today on what their priorities are and what they would add or change to the draft. And this consultation will be open for 3 weeks. The strategy draft will be online on the ministry's website, so everyone can go on and read about it and think about if they have input for it, send it over, but also think about how they feel that they could potentially help the implementation.
When we come back, Julian Cho High School remains without a principal. The board holds an emergency meeting. There are new developments at Julian Cha Technical High School in Toledo District, where the Board of Directors met this evening at 4 o'clock to determine who will be the next principal of the secondary school. Since November 19th, the institution has been without a principal, since there is a deadlock on who will assume the vacancy. News 5 understands that there were two candidates vying for the post, including Dr. Simeon Koch and Dr. Kent Arzu. Koch, who has reached retirement age and has stepped down, was deemed ineligible due to a clause in the terms of reference. Dr. Arzu, who has been at Julian Cha for the past 17 years, is next in line to become the principal, but is not considered an option by the existing board. He explains the deadlock.
Recently, I applied for the position of principal Julian Cha Technical High School. I went through two interviews. The first interview, of course, the first and second interview, I was unsuccessful. The results were sent to the Teaching Service Commission. It was reviewed by them. At the end of that review, they sent information to our board expressing that it would be best to go with the second candidate, who was me. Since then, I was also given an interim position for 3 months, which ended on the 19th of November, which is approximately 5 days ago. At this time, there is no principal at the school.
My understanding is that you were one of two candidates who applied for the job, the other individual being Dr. Simeon Koch.
That's correct.
What is the situation in respect of his eligibility and why you're overlooked for the post?
From what I garnered from the response of the Teaching Service Commission, there were 3 grounds on which he could not qualify. One was the retirement class, which means that preference should be given to a younger candidate. The second reason was because he had already retired, and there was someone who was younger, had similar scores as him on the interview. They also referenced that I could also continue with the school for another 10 years. And so these were the bases on which he was denied a position, and I was allowed to take the school into the new school year.
Is there racism and employment discrimination playing out in the hiring of Kent Arzu at Julian Cha? He says that his predecessors are both of Maya descent and that the composition of the board of directors is majority Maya.
Has made it very clear from their behavior with me that they are not considering me as an option. I have had several meetings with them, and those meetings have not turned out well. They are meeting today at 4, now that is my understanding, and at the end of that meeting, the idea, of course, I guess, is to hire someone on an emergency basis and, of course, send that recommendation to the Teaching Service Commission.
What has been the background of the previous principals of Julian Cha, and give us an idea of the composition of the board of directors?
So the history of the principal, for those 19 years, the school began in approximately 2000. For 17 of those years when I worked here, I had a Mayan principal, a person of Mayan descent. I also worked under another principal who was of Mayan descent. Basically, those have been the principals at the school. I have also served as interim or acting principal during the times when there were no principals or when a principal was on leave. The racial composition of the board is mostly people of Mayan descent. I think there are 2 East Indians, if I'm correct. There is one person who's white, and the rest are of Mayan descent.
Do you believe that perhaps there is some element of racial or employment discrimination afoot here?
Yes, from the complaints that I have heard and from the way in which I have been treated by members of the board, I do believe that there is racial discrimination. Of course, there is workplace discrimination, and I intend to call them out as I see it. And of course, I intend to take action and to make sure that if I am to be the poster child for racism in the workplace, then that is what I intend to do, because I will not let any board member or anyone trample on my rights as a Belizean citizen and a citizen of the country.
Coming up after the break, 19-year-old Jalissa Arthurs from Corozal captures the title of Miss Central America.
No tricks, no illusions. This smart SIM is all you need to make the switch to your full-service telecom provider. Smart. No need to purchase a new device. Just swap your DigiSIM and join the smart network. You'll enjoy the best rates on calls, text, and data. Swap your DigiSIM with a free smart SIM at no cost to you. Every month for 3 months, you will get 3 days of unlimited calls and text, plus 200 megabytes of data on your new smart SIM. It's time to get smart.
A group of UB students is hosting a benefit fashion show later this week, and they would like your support. The 6 students are undertaking their undergraduate studies, and as a part of their requirements for the convention and events course, they are to plan and execute an event for a final grade. The team is planning a male fashion show that will benefit a small NGO that operates on the south side of Belize City. The students have the support of some sponsors, but they have also had to take money out of their pockets to hold the event. So today, Kimara Card and Brittany Saragosa stopped by News 5 to tell us why you should support them.
The event had to be attached to a cause or a purpose, and the cause or purpose we've chosen is the organization Life. It's a non-profit organization that deals with the elderly across the south side of Belize. It helps with transportation for them, it helps with social security, they bring them to the Mercy Clinic, doctor visits, stuff like that. We also do socials, and we're planning a Christmas party for them, as per every year we do that. So with that, we decided to give a portion of our proceeds to the organization Life to facilitate whatever they need to do this year.
So talk to me about the event that you're going to put on. How are you going to raise this money?
Well, the event is called Mr. Fashion Trends. It's a male fashion show. We've solicited the help of some familiar faces across the city. Some of the men have agreed to help us do the modeling. We've also solicited the help of some of the businesses that sells men apparels. And so they've sponsored some of the attires that they will be wearing. Promises to be a very good event because it's not something that it's common. Male doing fashion is not common. It's something that we hope can be something that people continue to do. It's to show that men can be fashionable at a bargain price, which is not something men are into. Men just goes to the store and pick up. So I'm just inviting the men to come out and see how you can be fashionable at a bargain price.
And the female also to watch the men. It's going to be awesome. You can't miss the show. And it's for our word cause that Miss Kimara mentioned before, supporting the elderly, the charity called Life. And it's also important because it's a final grade for our project at school, exam grade. So we would like to acknowledge our sponsors, which is Belize Biltmore Plaza, the Audubon Society, Dress for Less, Hook Up Bargain Center, Peekaboo, Francis Dive-In, Fresh Look Barbershop, Crystal Paradise Resort.
The event takes place at the Biltmore on Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. and the cover charge is $40. To get tickets, call 630-7861 or 633-7866. Entertainment will be provided by Adriana Taylor and DJ Ice. You will also have the opportunity to win prizes during the show. Belize captured the title of the 5th annual Miss Central America 2019 pageant held in Nicaragua on Monday night. Belize's contestant, 19-year-old Jalissa Arthurs, won the crown after several rounds of competition. This is the first time that Belize has captured the title of the regional pageant. According to the Miss Central America site, the pageant is used as a platform to promote the talent and beauty and tourism offerings of Central America. Here's a look at the crowning moment for Belize's Jalissa Arthurs.
Por favor, mis Honduras y mis Belice, un paso al frente y tómense de la mano, por favor. Voy a mencionar a la nueva Miss Centroamérica 2019. Por tanto, Miss Integración Centroamérica 2019 será la chica que lo mencione. Y Miss Centroamérica 2019 es... ¿Quién creen? Miss Centroamérica 2019 es Miss Belice. Y Miss Integración 2019 es Miss Honduras.
Sí, no, estoy tomando, pero la niña está poniendo las coronas por delante.
Muchísimas gracias a todos por habernos acompañado. Aquí están sus Miss y sus Mister Centroamérica 2019. Vamos a pedirle a los chicos que por favor pasen al centro y a los otros que nos acompañen por este lado para que ellos puedan tomarse su foto oficial.
And that's the news. Don't forget that tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Marlene Koyar. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.